that's not fair because I know you're biased for the Sonic movie because you like Jim Carrey.
Oh,
So
100%. Jim Carrey's one of my favorite comedians slash actors of all
yeah.
time. I will defend that man to the bitter end. Spinning into action, it's your boy, Zero.
And I'm Ash.
That's right. And yeah, we're down to only 2 Digimon because we don't have enough memory to hold on to this, to hold on to Mega Kabuterimon and Crestmon at the same time. Currently trying to
Why
figure
don't we
out
just go get
Coredramon.
like a memory card expansion?
That's what I want to do. I just don't know if that's a thing here. So, my best understanding is that it's likely a level thing. So I probably have to level up as a hacker. And when it comes to digivolving Coredramon, I likely need to go down a level and then up a level. That's what I ended up finding out before. So let's go de-digivolve Coredramon.
No.
As much as I hate to do it. And yeah, we'll bring them back up to Coredramon and then hopefully have enough ABI to go to the next level Digimon that I want.
Right. So for those of us that don't know or aren't familiar with the series, so they can go backwards. Like they can basically instead of evolve, devolve.
Yep.
Devolve. I can't remember. Was that a thing in Pokemon?
No.
No. Once it goes forward, it can't go back.
Yeah, once it digivolves, once a Pokemon evolves, it can't go back to its previous state. It's a one and done deal.
Right.
And that, I mean, a lot of people are fine with that. I always like the idea of a Digimon being able to go back to their smaller, cuter forms, because you know, it's hard to hide a big ass dinosaur. And in Digimon, you don't have like Pokeballs or anything like that to like store them. At least not in the anime. Well, in most anime, you don't actually. There is my other buddies and I. We have a watch party, and we're actually watching through the 5th season of Digimon. Which again, after season 2, it's all a different universe. So yeah, and in the 5th season, the Digivices can hold 1 Digimon. So my understanding is, no matter what the size, you can turn them into data, store them in the Digivice, and you'll be good to go.
Since we were at the start of the episode, we were outside of the cinema. I want to ask you, most important question for any gamer right now.
Yes.
Did you watch the Mario movie?
Not yet.
Okay.
Did you?
Well, then I won't spoil anything for you, but I mean, it's Mario, so I feel like a lot of it's already pretty self-explanatory.
I mean, there's supposedly a really crazy song called Peaches by Bowser. So I'm assuming that's something to do with the movie, like, oh, I want peaches, and by that he means like Princess Peach.
Well, I mean, again, I hate like the idea of spoiling stuff. It's not really what I want to do, so I'm not gonna get into that. But I will say, as far as I liked it, I enjoyed it. I would even watch it again. But it definitely was like nothing too surprising for the most part. I think the weakest point of the movie, and a lot of people have pointed this out, was the plot. So it's kind of just like everything that you expected basically happened, with the exception of like a couple of very quirky moments in the movie that they did.
Okay. I mean, would you recommend it to like any fan of like Nintendo properties or like Mario fans or anything?
I mean, I guess that depends because, like, when you think about it, there's not a whole lot of Mario media outside of the games, right? It's mostly just the video games. You don't really have a lot of comparison. You can't say like, well, people that are fans of the Mario, like, cinematic universe, whatever. There's only 2 movies at this point, if I'm not mistaken, and there's the old TV show and some cartoons, but outside of that, it's mostly just games. I think as a gamer, it's fine. expect to have like a lot of references thrown at you, you know, which I think is kind of some people might not like. Depending on who you are, that might not be for you, or you'll be okay with that. I was fine with it. There were a couple of moments where I was like, oh man, I can't believe they did that, like in a kind of way. But whatever, it's fine. I think if you like Mario, definitely don't need me to tell you to go watch it. You're probably already gonna do it. But I mean, again, it's just fascinating that there's not much else to compare it to in terms of movie or TV, because all we really get from Mario for the most part is games. You know.
No, absolutely. When I heard that they were making a CGI Mario movie, I was actually excited because that gives them a lot more freedom to do a lot more and not have to like rely on like human actors and being able to like mix in CGI into real life. It's just a lot easier now to just animate it. And I'm like, yeah, it looked good. Illumination Animation Studios, they do pretty well. So I was excited for it. You know, I was all for it.
There was one thing that I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you weren't cutting me off. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so there was one thing that was consistent for me with the movie before I came in, when I first saw the trailer, before I decided to watch it, and after I finished watching it, and that was that I maintain if they made the Sonic movie exactly this way, I would have loved the Sonic movie.
Really?
I didn't watch it. I chose not to watch it, but just like on concept alone, I like that they built the whole world around Mario as opposed to kind of setting up, well, we're just going to go out and film in California and then do some CG stuff where, well, Sonic is CG, but he's like in California. So I definitely would have preferred that approach to the Sonic movie. I know that there's probably reasons they couldn't have made the Sonic movie like that, but to me that's way better for a property like Mario or Sonic to just, you know, make the whole world CG, make all the characters CG, put us into Mario's world, not Mario into our world with like human people and, you know, faces and shit.
I don't blame you for feeling that way.
Yeah.
I did watch the first Sonic movie. It wasn't bad. You know, they did their best. Whatever
sure
it was gonna be, it was gonna be.
I'll be quick to also point out that that's not fair because I know you're biased for the Sonic movie because you like Jim Carrey. So
100%. Jim Carrey's one of my favorite comedians / actors of all time. Yeah. I will defend that man to the bitter end. Fight me, ho.
Yeah. I just feel like if you're gonna put us into this fictional world, it's gonna be way more interesting. Like I could go watch a million movies. It's just like random shots in like California and stuff. I would rather see Sonic like in his world. What if they made a Mega Man movie and it was like set in New York City? You know,
I'm still gonna watch it. I'm still gonna watch it. 100%.
I'm not gonna watch that.
Whether it's bad or good, that'll have to be like, you know, for us to decide when we watch it. That's the thing.
I know.
But no, I am actually curious now if they do make like a third Sonic movie, which they probably will because the first two, again, made money. Those movies made money.
But they also announced the spin-off.
Yeah. If they do go with Sonic again, I'm hoping they go to like the actual Sonic universe itself and leave the humans behind, because if I'm being honest, the human characters weren't very compelling to me.
Yeah.
They weren't. I was curious as to how Sonic would act, and of course, I mean, other than Jim Carrey, everybody else was just like, like human-wise.
Yeah, the Sonic universe is gonna have a lot more interesting characters than, you know, Ted and Frank from California or whatever, from the human world, the actual human world. I don't know. Again, I'm not telling people, you know, how they should feel. It's just my personal opinion that it would have been way more interesting if they could do it in CG, like 100% CG. However, also as a side note, I find the kind of like, oh, this mystical alien kind of like whimsical thing came into our world. Like, I don't know. I feel like so many movies like kid movies took that direction, and I watched a lot of them when I was younger.
Same.
I'm just tired of that idea now. Like, you know, I guess I would call it the
It needs to be
Harry
done.
Potter effect.
Yeah, it needs to be done a specific way, because otherwise it just won't be good.
Yeah.
You know, because
So
it'll be the same tired freaking thing that they've been doing forever. Like, people don't want that.
Exactly. And that's, to me, that as a side note, that's lame. But anyway, the real reason they most likely did the Sonic movie the way they did was, well, Jim Carrey probably ate up a fat chunk of that budget. So did Gangster's Paradise, I'm sure. Some CG, obviously, to make Sonic and the more, you know, fictional characters. And the rest of it was probably to save money, because the Mario movie, like, it just shows you these big open landscapes. So just, you know, you go to the Mushroom Kingdom and it's just a city. It's all CG. Like, that probably takes a lot more money and a lot more work than just getting a film crew out to some random street corner and like some random park, some random part in the middle of the ocean, whatever, and just filming for like 2 or 3 hours, you know? It's probably a lot more work to do full CG and to make it good. That's also kind of why I suspect the Mario movie was a little bit short. It was good. I think it was a fair length, but it was a little bit short. People also
Hour and a
complained
half, or just like an hour?
it was an hour and a half.
Okay.
Fair for a movie, but a lot of people also said that the pacing seemed very quick.
Yeah.
So by the time it was over, it was kind of just like, whoa, I can't believe it's done. It doesn't feel like it was like it doesn't really feel like a beefy movie. And my guess is that, yeah, they probably had to cut stuff just, you know, for the sake of budget, because the whole movie was done in CG.
Yeah, unfortunately, a full CGI movie, as crazy as it may sound, I think is actually more expensive than making like partially CG movie. With
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because again, I mean, think about it. How much would it cost to rent out your boys, Two Stupid Gamers, to get a camera and go to some random place and just start filming for like 2 or 3 hours? We're cheap. We
Yeah.
are way cheaper
100%.
than hiring a CG team to create all these crazy visuals and to make them look amazing. So, you know, that's clearly like a cost-cutting measure. And I could never get over that fact with the Sonic movie enough to bring myself to go watch it. Because the whole time I'm going to be thinking, oh, the reason it's like this, and I hate it being like this, the reason it's like this is because it's to save money, because they just don't have enough money to make like a really good full CG Sonic movie. And that kind of relates to the Chris Pratt situation, I would say, where a lot of people probably feel the same way about the Super Mario movie, that as good as it could be, as much as they would like to see it, they just don't want to deal with Chris Pratt's voice as Mario. And I will say, having seen it, having also been someone who doubted that I was gonna enjoy it, that it was gonna suck just because the main character's voice was terrible, I'll say it wasn't awful. They also kind of, at the very beginning, I guess this will be a tiny spoiler, but at the very beginning, they kind of wrote it into the script to like explain it away. And at that point, I was just kind of like, okay, I'll give it to you. That's a good explanation for the most part. And another theory that I also heard was that they said that if Mario had the really Mario voice the whole time, it would get kind of annoying for an entire feature-length film.
That's one of the first things that I actually thought about when I first heard Mario's voice in like the trailers and shit. I was like, wait a minute. They really went with just like some normal guy's voice. That's what he just sounded like. Some random guy off the street.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself...
That's not actually what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if he did the actual Mario voice...
I was getting there. And then I thought
to myself... Oh shit, he misinterpreted.
No. I totally understood. What I was trying to say is... would I rather listen to some random guy's voice off the street, or would I rather hear... Oh, yes, it's me, Mario! Like, all the time for like an hour and a half? I'd probably... Because that's a high-pitched voice. That's not low. That's not normal. You don't necessarily hear people speak like that all the time. You know, it might actually get more annoying than than we all think.
Yeah, and I guess when you kind of think about it, in the Super Show, he didn't sound like that. In the movie, the previous movie, the first movie, obviously Mario didn't sound like that at all. They just kind of defaulted to like a Brooklyn kind of Italian guy, you know? But he sound like it's a voice that you could reasonably do and not wear out a voice actor for an hour and a half worth of dialogue. So, I guess, but again, not in Chris Pratt's defense. I feel like he didn't try hard enough.
No,
I definitely
agree.
feel like he didn't try hard enough, and he didn't find that middle ground, as opposed to the one end where it's like it has to be the crazy high pitched Mario voice the whole time, or just not trying. I felt like instead of finding a good middle ground, he just still didn't try. I was just okay with it because of the way they explained it in the show, and then. Whatever, I was already at the movie theater, so I just didn't give a shit. I was like, fine, whatever. I accept it.
I would have actually preferred if Chris Pratt had taken notes from like the Super Mario Super Show and actually tried like a good Brooklyn accent, or at least, like you mentioned before, an Italian Brooklyn accent.
Yeah,
I think that would have been better, and I think fans, especially older fans like us that would actually remember that shit, would look and be like, okay, we can accept this. This is all right.
I have a really crazy idea. Why not just hire someone that's from Brooklyn and has a Brooklyn accent?
Well,
Or
that's
like an Italian guy from Brooklyn.
That's the problem. Why hire someone that, could potentially be cheaper and actually provide something new to the industry when you can use an already established person and just have them do a regular voice and hope that people are gonna lose their crap over it?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I definitely, because actually on that note, there's there's so many arguments against Chris Pratt as Mario and the way he was, but another argument that I really liked was that, I mean, just go with the guy that does Mario. He's still alive. He's in the games, you know? That was another option. It would have been more true to the games. It would have fit better. It wouldn't be such a jarring contrast to the Mario that we all know, that we all grew up with.
Again, remember what we were saying. Do you really want to hear that high-pitched motherfucker the entire time?
I mean, yeah, but at least there, it's not just, oh, let's go take some big-budget Hollywood actor and just slap him all over Mario. Here you go, you're Mario. Congratulations. Here's, 6 figures, whatever.
Yeah.
At least then it'd be like, okay, this just makes sense because he was already doing it before. He was actually Mario, so you might as well just make him Mario again in the movie. You're right. We can come back to that other argument, but it's a better choice than just taking Chris Pratt.
Oh,
because they decided to lie. I mean, Harley Day was good. Jack Black was good. I liked Seth Rogen. The dude from Key and Peele. They were great. But it was very obvious that Nintendo was just trying to, make this star-studded cinema spectacle. And again, in some instances it worked, and in some instances it didn't work. I also heard arguments that, Peach's voice kind of sucked, too. And that was probably... I don't know who she is, but that was probably some big-name voice actor as well. Big-name actor as well. And that makes me kind of believe, how could you make a Mario movie and get other cast members so perfect, but then fuck up Mario and Peach?
Yeah. I can't recall Peach's voice from the trailers that I've seen.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if it was just, again, another, regular woman voice.
I didn't like it first, as Peach. It was okay. It was not, it was just what you would consider a quality voice. But for Peach, I just didn't think it was, particularly special. I thought, I don't know, maybe they were trying to go for, a very specific type of female lead kind of role, but I didn't think it was that great as Peach. And another thing I realized, too, was that out of all the characters, all the designs for all of the characters that I remember, Peach was, the ugliest.
Really?
I just looked at her face and, when, expressions and, during dialogue, and the CG on Peach was probably the worst in the movie. You know,
That's upsetting.
I like after I kind of saw this like uncanny grossness to it, like I couldn't unsee it for the rest of the movie, and it was bugging me. Yeah,
Dude, that's unfortunate.
it is.
I mean,
It
look,
is.
as an animator and freaking well, wannabe voice actor and shit, like that's upsetting. Look, like how do you fuck all that up? Seriously, like you got the budget, you got the people. That come the fuck on, man.
It's just it's appeal to popularity. Let's take all these celebrities and put them into this movie, and I don't know. Now I will say, okay, I will spoil one thing from the movie, but it's not a major plot point or anything like that. It's just something that I really like. Like I picked out some of the references. At one point during the section when we're in the, you know, the area that has all the Kongs, so like Donkey Kong, Cranky Kong, they cut to a crowd shot, and you get to see, this was one of the many references that I picked out, you get to see some of the other Kongs, and it made me really happy because it was Diddy Kong, it was Diddy Kong, Tiny Kong, and Chunky Kong. There's the three of them. And as a guy that, as a kid that played Donkey Kong 64 growing up, I would have loved to see that in like a movie theater because that game was so special and so important to me. And so I was really happy to see them in there. Now that being said, I couldn't help but notice Lanky Kong was not there. That's the orange one with the blue overalls and the white shirt.
Yeah.
With the stretchy arms. He wasn't there. I'm like, wait, what happened to Lanky? You forgot one. But that was really nice. I like that.
Yeah, Lanky seems to be the redheaded stepchild of the Donkey Kong universe.
Yeah, he was my favorite. He can walk on hands. He shoots people with grapes. He can kind of fly, if I remember correctly. He like kind of has got like a hover to him, and his jumps are really high. That too, yeah. But, yeah, and you know, for all the flack that people gave Chris Pratt, again, I think a lot of it deserved, some of it deserved, whatever. For just doing it, just his voice. It's just Chris Pratt speaking. I couldn't help but feel that way a lot about like some of the other characters, honestly. Firstly, fuck, I lost my train of thought. Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong was pretty much the same way that Chris Pratt was with Mario. It was literally just Seth Rogen. And I guess it was fine because Donkey Kong's kind of like a silly character, I guess. And Seth Rogen is typecast as being like this silly stoner kind of dude. So it fit, but there was really not much he was doing different to sound more like the actual character Donkey Kong than he was just speaking in his own voice. And I'm gonna get a lot of flack for saying this because most of the people that I spoke to that saw the movie said that they really liked this performance, and it was like unanimous. No matter who I talked to, they said they would always say, I watched the movie and I love Bowser. Like Jack Black as Bowser was the best part. And I agree he was good. The songs were entertaining. They're very Jack Black. You know, I thought Bowser was done very well. It just comes back to just like with I was just saying with Donkey Kong and just like with Mario, it still kind of just felt like Jack Black sometimes, you know? I didn't really feel convinced like I was hearing Bowser. I felt like I was just hearing Jack Black. And I guess that was fine for a lot of people, but I just couldn't help but think the whole time, again, you know, he didn't really sound intimidating to me. He was just Jack Black kind of yelling, you know? Yeah. And again, not to say it wasn't good, not to say Bowser was bad. I can't help but criticize that because while we're criticizing Pratt Mario and I was criticizing Seth Rogen for Donkey Kong, I think it needs to be said, Jack Black was also just kind of doing Jack Black.
Hey, if you're gonna criticize one, for doing one thing, do it to the others. I'm equal opportunity when it comes to that shit.
Absolutely, criticize across the board. On the opposite end of that spectrum, though, I think the best one was Toad. Like, Toad was Toad. There's no question about it. Toad was Toad. So I think in terms of, like, if you want to look at... Okay, if you're going to look at the movie the way I'm kind of looking at it with all these arguments and, like, well, how well does it fit for the actual character from the games and the way we know them? Toad was the best one, in my opinion. Hands down. It actually sounded like Toad.
That's great to hear. Shit.
Yeah. I haven't watched a movie in a theater in a really long ass time, and it was gonna be the Mario movie. That's how it lined up for me. So I got to watch that. I felt like outside of the Mario movie, there really isn't a lot that comes out in the movies that's really that interesting that I really want to check out. So yeah, something like the Mario movie, even if I'm not 100% for it, like, I'll go watch it. It's still something that is at least meant for me in a sense, I guess, partially because I like Mario and video games. There's another movie called Air, which is about Michael Jordan's shoes. It does not actually feature Michael Jordan, and I don't know. I have mixed feelings about the movie because it does seem like it could be really interesting, but then it's like, man, I don't know, couldn't they just put Michael Jordan in? Like, not as himself, of course, but...
Yeah, look, when I saw commercials for that movie, I just kept thinking to myself, like, wow, they really went and said, yeah, let's make a movie about these guys that were like, hey, so, like, Michael Jordan, guy's doing pretty good. Why don't we, put him on a shoe? Like, are you, like, is that really it? Is that all you guys could come up with? You couldn't do anything else? Like, yeah, let's make a movie about his shoes. Nah, like, it annoys me. Now, I've heard other people say, like, no, it's actually pretty good. You should give it a chance.
I thought
I'm just thinking to myself, is it though? Is it really? Dude, I spent this whole episode following what I thought I was supposed to do, and we got practically nothing done. I feel like an idiot.
Yeah, you spent the whole episode following me talking about the Mario movie because I actually saw it. Yeah.
It looks like Hugo and Faye have gone to patrol Kowloon. I think I'll head there too myself. Exactly. I went to Kowloon. Both levels of Kowloon. I didn't find them.
Yeah, I did.
You read that too,
I
right?
think this is just one of those
Mash?
RPG
Like, I'm not
moments.
crazy. And I just...
Like, where the fuck do we go?
Well, I guess we're going to have to figure that out next time. I'm going to go ahead and save, and, whatever little progress I made with Digivolution.
Well, we did that. Yeah, we did that 1D evolution, so we did something.
Yeah, but I guess we'll figure out where exactly we need to go in Kowloon next time, because it's time, everyone. And I want to thank you all for joining us and hearing us ramble on about our issues with the Mario movie and stuff.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments if you saw the Mario movie. And, no spoilers, of course, but let us know in the comments what you thought if you did see it. Let us know if you don't want to see it. Let us know what you think about my reasons to not want to see the Sonic movie. And maybe if you have some different opinion. So, yeah, let us know below.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe, slap that like button, and tune in next time while we figure out what exactly we're supposed to do. So, take care, everyone.
Bye.